Now it pops up. There we go. We are back, fellas. Another Thursday with another Twid. Here we go. We got we got a lot to read today. So I'm going to take the time. We're going to buckle down, get ready for some scares. Just buckle down so we have an idea. We're going to start with the shape abilities tuning. Final shape abilities tuning. Okay. So let's start with here. Updates to portion of the stasis ability. So this was on the 22nd, which was yesterday. Alright. Let's start. I'm going to highlight some key things in here that Bungie has to have that's important. Very, very important. So that's what we're going to do. Starting with this section. Let's start with stasis shortly after the release of stasis. Okay? Alright. While we're at this, I'm going to get some music ready for us all. Give me 1 second here. There. Alright. So, like I was saying, this section here. Let's start with Stasis. Shortly after the release of Stasis, we shifted focus to the back-to-back launch of the Bungie 30th Anniversary Pack and Void 3.0. We haven't really let up on the gas since, as a result, other than smaller changes we have been able to make here and there. It's been difficult to evaluate the relationship between Stasis and our other damage types and make larger feature level updates to it. This was something we wanted to change within the final shape. In particular, we wanted to upgrade the Stasis Shard Overshield that lived on the fringes of the damage type to make it a full-on keyword that we could incorporate into abilities, armor, or weapon perks. Frost Armor is a stacking buff that reduces incoming damage, with greater damage reduction as your stacks increase. At launch, Frost Armor will be granted from a variety of sources, including the Tectonic Grim Glacial Harvest aspects, fragments, and exotic armor. By default, you can build to a maximum number of 5 stacks of Frost Armor that last 9 seconds, but with the newly reworked Whisper of Rime fragment, Frost Armor's maximum lifetime increases to 13 seconds. It can build to a maximum of 8 stacks. Unlike the Stasis Shard Overshield, Frost Armor remains active when your super is cast, though its effectiveness is significantly lower when your super is active. New Frost Armor keyword. You are fortified by layers of durable stasis matter, reducing incoming damage. Frost Armor damage resistance grows stronger as you gain additional stacks. Boys, this is a W in our books right here. This is some game-breaking stasis stuff right here. Whisper of Rime has now been reworked. No longer grants Stasis Shard Overshield when collecting a Stasis Shard. Now increases the maximum duration and stack count of your Frost Armor. Guys, that is some good changes to Stasis. Would now Stasis be able to hold up to the potential up to like Solar and Strand? Only one way to find out, fellas. 12 to maybe 11 days away until Final Shape drops for all of us Guardians. The battle is coming. It is almost there. Okay. They're talking about more about Stasis Shards. While you need specific aspect to generate, because Stasis Shards are created for allied players at once. Like how other... So they're basically... They're trying to compare it. So like, for example here... Rather than being a shared consume resource like Tangles or a local only resource like Fire Sprites, Ionic Traces, or Void Breaches. Saying it would be easy for the number of Stasis Shards on the field to spiral out of control if we were to make their creation intrinsic to the damage type. Instead, we have increased the number of sources that players can build into to generate them more on this shortly, and increasing their value when collected when a harvest aspect is equipped. Okay? When Tectonic, Grim, or Glacial Harvest is equipped, addition to the previous behavior, collecting any Stasis Shards now grants a small small of the following: health and a stack of frost armor. Alongside with increased potency, we are also implementing a shared cooldown on rapid stasis shard creation. Cooldown is intended to be pretty generous and primarily limits cases of oppressive behavior, like triple behemoth trial squads. Okay. Now, all harvest aspects will do the following in final shape. While Grim Tectonic or Glacial Harvest is equipped, stasis shards grant a small health and a stack of frost armor. Large stasis shards from Grim Harvest grant even more health and frost armor stacks. Beautiful. And all harvest aspects now have a standardized cooldown when a large number of shards are created very quickly. Tectonic now creates a stasis shard when shattering a frozen target in addition to shattering stasis crystals. Okay, that's huge. That is very huge. Our intention with Frost Armor can be granted through a variety of sources. We've also updated Renewal Grasp and Ballador's Wrath Weavers to directly gain Frost Armor rather than their own custom damage resistance or Stasis Shard Overshield. Renewal Grasp has replaced the generic damage resistance with Frost Armor. On entering your Duskfield Grenade volume, you and your allies gain a stack of Frost Armor. About every 0.9 seconds when in the volume, an additional Frost Armor stack is granted, resetting the timer. Beautiful. I feel like Hunter with Renewal Grasp are gonna love that. Stasis for Hunters is gonna probably be viable. Beautiful. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely W, Bungie, for Hunters. To help increase players... Okay, I skipped the line, sorry. Ballador's Wrath Weavers. Replace Stasis Shard Overshield with Frost Armor when you activate your Rift or you use Winter's Wrath Shatter Attack. To help increase players' capabilities to generate Stasis Shards, we created a brand new fragment that... No way. We created a brand new fragment that offers a straightforward method to create different build types. Whisper of Chill. Whisper of Chill does the following effect. Stasis Weapon Final Blows have a chance to create a Stasis Shard. Nice. Very nice. As a part of the effort, we have also reworked Whisper of Chains. Hell yeah. Whisper of Chains no longer grants passive damage resistance when near a Stasis Crystal or a frozen target. Now grants a chance to create a Stasis Shard when defeating a target while you have one or more stacks of Frost Armor. Hell yeah. Next on our list of Frost Armor fragment reworks is Whisper of Fractures. Whisper of Fractures no longer increases melee energy regeneration while surrounded by enemies. Now grants a stack of Frost Armor when you shatter any frozen target with a melee attack. Okay. Alright. Our final fragment rework is Whisper of Torment. This is a fragment I use on my Stasis build, and probably a friend of mine uses this as well. Whisper of Torment. Grenade energy gains are no longer dependent on your current health value. Base grenade energy regeneration amount per incoming damage event increased from 5% to 7%. While you have Frost Armor, energy per damage event increases from 7% to 12%. Okay. Finally, we've created one... Are you kidding me? You've created another Stasis Fragment? Oh my god. What do you guys got for us now? Whisper of Reversal is a close combat tool. No way. While you have Frost Armor, dealing or receiving physical melee, not projectile melee, damage slows your victim or the attacker. Bro, that's sick! Absolutely amazing. Just imagine, if you're running, like, say for example, you're rocking Prismatic, while with Prismatic is equipped, you're gonna be able to get this. That's crazy. This is gonna be so good for Prismatic. While you have Frost Armor, dealing or receiving physical melee, damage slows your victim or the attacker. Just imagine that, but in PvE and PvP. This fragment right here, Whisper of Reprisal, is gonna be kind of nuts. I actually like this fragment. This is gonna be nice. Very nice. Also, we're gonna have to wait. I'm gonna have to watch a lot more because there's a lot to unpack from these articles. So, let's talk Shatter. We want the focus of Stasis to be primarily in high-value crowd control abilities. Yes! Let's go. Shattering a frozen target doesn't always result in the payout that other damage types are able to deliver with their capstone keywords, especially in high-end content. Misjudging your ability to capitalize on a freeze can lead to dire consequences. To help address, we are bumping base shatter damage versus PvE combatants from 200 to 400. This does not affect stasis crystal detonations. Simultaneously, fixing an issue where boss combatants receive double damage from auto-shattering won't quadruple the shatter damage. Stasis Shatter increase base PvE shatter damage from 200 to 400. Nice. Fixed an issue where bosses auto-shattering were being hit by 2 instances of shatter damage. Fixed an issue where players in an active super would show immune damage flyouts when automatically breaking out of stasis freeze. That's it for stasis updates. Heck yeah, man. I'm liking what they're cooking here. Warlock. Up front, we believe that Shade Binders are largely in good shape across all game modes, relative to our other stasis subclasses. Therefore, we have limited our focus here. We have added a small boost to Ice Flare Bolts. Heck yeah, man. Ice Flare Bolts now is increased maximum number of Seekers created before going on cooldown from 5 to 7. Okay. Hunter. Revenant. Winter Shroud added new behavior. Slowing targets briefly increases your class ability regeneration rate. Bonuses reduced in PvP. Now grants PvE damage reduction when activated. Heck yeah. Sweet. That is good. Touch of Winter. Glacier Grenade. Added an additional stasis crystal to the ring formation, increasing total count from 6 to 7. Glacier Grenade ring now forms over 0.27 seconds rather than instantly. Cold Snap. No longer chains an additional time when Touch of Winter is equipped. Instead, Seekers now duplicate when they freeze a target. Second and third Seeker chains now create a medium and large stasis crystal respectively, rather than every chain creating a small crystal. My god. So, you weren't here for this, 7, when I was reading at the beginning, but every time when you get Frost Armor is going to do the following. Give you damage resistance and health regen. That is huge. That is very huge. And the more your stacks are added to Frost Armor, the better your damage resistance and the health regen. So Frost Armor with Stasis, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's going to be really, really game-breaking for PvP. So some of your PvP gods are going to want to take some consideration to add some rules and stuff to see what's, like, going to be allowed and not allowed in scrims. So, there's that. Now, let's dive into, Silence and Squall. Okay. Are still effective at locking down rooms full of enemies. We've done a small touch-up on its ability to roam the battlefield, and how quickly it converts from a slow to a slow freeze on PvE combatants. We think this will increase its viability in target-rich environments. So those target-rich environments may include, like, Battlegrounds, Grandmaster Nightfalls, and probably the raids as well, if there's a certain encounter that has high density of adds. So, Silence and Squall now does, which will happen in Final Shape, increase Squall maximum travel speed by 10%. Squall Storm now slows down when any target is within its area of effect to reduce instances where it could overshoot its target. Increase damage and slow tick rate versus PvE combatants by about 40%, bringing its freeze time from approximately 0.8 seconds to 0.5 seconds. Okay. Titans. Behemoth. Shiver Strike. Increase damage versus PvE combatants by 10%. Increase size of melee target search area cone by about 50%. Wow, that's a huge buff. Increase maximum lunge tracking angular speed from 7 degrees per second to 21 degrees per second. Glacial Quake now automatically begins sprinting when the player throttles forward. Nice. We had a number of iterations on Cryochasm. Cryochasm removes sprint time requirement. Cryochasm now goes on cooldown for 4 seconds after one extended slide. For Diamond Lance, here we go. Titan mains out there for Diamond Lance. We are making a couple of quality of life changes to help make it easier to pick up on the battlefield and are generally improving its ease of use. Increasing the size of its thrown projectile detonation versus all targets and its slam attack versus PvE combatants. Diamond Lance will now do the following in final shape. Increase thrown Diamond Lance detonation radius from 3.5 to 5 meters. Increase Diamond Lance slam detonation radius from 6.75 meters to 8 meters versus PvE combatants. Diamond Lance now shatters stasis crystals on direct impact. Reduce Diamond Lance pickup interaction time from 0.2 seconds to 0.1, matching strand tangles. Increase Diamond Lance pickup interaction radius from 0.7 meters to 3 meters, matching strand tangles. Well, boys, we had a good run with Well of Radiance and Bubble. Let's read what it does now. Well does now the following. Now grants Radiant for 8 seconds when player exit the well. Reduce player survivability when standing in the Well of Radiance aura. Reduce healing per second from 100 to 50 points, matching restoration times 2. Increasing heal on cast from 40 to 300 health points. Reduce damage resistance for versus non-boss combatants from 40% to 20%. Reduce damage resistance versus boss combatants from 40% to 10%. Damage resistance versus enemy players is unchanged, which means I think that's for PvP. Increase maximum orbs of power from defeating targets while in your Well of Radiance aura from 4 to 5. Okay. There's your answer about Well. Well got the nerf. So let's read the next page. Ward of Dawn. This is Bubble. This is a rest in peace as well. Word of Dawn. Armor of Light has been removed. Armor of Light Overshield. Word of Dawn now immediately applies a full Overshield to the caster and its allies that enters its dome. Armor of Light now instead grants additional damage resistance to players inside the Word of Dawn. 30% versus enemy players and 60% versus enemy combatants. Okay. Effective health of players inside the Word of Dawn dome remains roughly the same as it was before versus PvE combatants. Effective health of players inside the Word of Dawn is significantly lower than it was before versus other players in PvP, and cannot be further increased by stacking Bastion barricades inside the ward to gain additional Overshield layers. Allies near the Word of Dawn dome now have Void Overshield trickled on over time, similar to the volume behind a Bastion barricade. No longer provides weapons of light by default. The behavior has been moved to the benefits of Helm Saint 14. The Word of Dawn caster can now generate additional orbs of power by defeating enemies with melee attacks in or near their Word of Dawn dome. I like that. I actually kind of like that because now this one here gives people the opportunity to pull back Crest of Alpha Lupi. Crest of Alpha Lupi the exotic for Titans. So, there's that. Let's go into Arc subclass. Arc Staff, heavy palm strike attacks, and heavy air slam blinds enemies, disorienting below the melee. Decreased base cooldown time from 100 seconds to 90 seconds. Tempest Strike, added additional damage resistance versus PvE combatants when activated, lingering for a short duration after the attack. Warlocks, Lightning Surge, which is the Arc Teleport, added additional damage resistance versus PvE combatants when activated, lingering for a short duration after the attack. Ball of Lightning, long range arc melee. Increase the final arming shape size by 30%. Fix an issue where the arming shape was offset, higher than the maximum damage range of the projectile's detonation. Chain Lightning, increase secondary chain projectiles base damage from 27 to 54. Okay. Thunderclap, added additional damage resistance versus PvE combatants when activated, linger for a short duration after the attack. Increase minimum damage by 20% for PvE. Increase maximum damage PvE 33%. Increase maximum damage for enemy players PvP 14%. It's been difficult to find a solid place for knockout aspect. Knockout in Final Shape will do the following. Increase bonus damage granted to a powered melee attack in PvE combatants from 25 to 50. That's a buff. Reworked healing behavior. No longer unstuns health regen on melee defeats. Grants a chunk of healing that scales with the type of target defeated. If it's a player, 30 health points. Minor combatant, 50 health points. That's a PvE add. Major combatant, 75 health points. Champion and higher combatant, 100 health points. So, we wanted to change the travel speed of Touch of Thunder's grenade and upgrade to reduce its potency across the board. Touch of Thunder Storm Grenade increased the tracking travel speed when targeting PvE combatants by 0.5 to 1 meters per second, increasing with the storm's lifetime. Nice. Touch of Thunder Lightning Grenade. Now Jolt applies Jolt after the first damage event rather than prior. Nice. Okay. Normal Arc Grenades is also getting a bit of a boost outside the Touch of Thunder variant, increasing the base version's damage in PvE. Heck yeah. Storm Grenade. Increased damage by 20%. Touch of Thunder's variant damage is unchanged. Skip Grenades now do 15% increased in PvE. Arc Bolt Grenades will do 15% increased. Hell yeah. Spark of Recharge. Arc Fragments. So there's a little bit of reworks on the things here. So it looks like they added a few things. Spark of Recharge. Ability regen bonus now persists until the player returns to full shields rather than deactivating as soon as shields begin to recharge. Beacons now also triggers on defeating targets with arc power ammo weapons while amplified. Eee. I think I ran Spark of Beacons before, but I feel like I'll have to look at some of my builds and kind of look at the drawing board with some friends and not just myself to see what's going to be worth bringing into the day of our contest. And there's more contest details when we get down these articles, by the way. So Spark of Frequency now grants 15 weapon stability on powered melee hit in addition to its reload benefit. Okay. Now, Solar. We kind of saw the well get nerfed, but now we're going to talk about Hunter. And is Well of Radiance the end of the world? No, it's not. It's still going to be worth rocking. Trust me. I mean, some people are going to disagree with me on this, but I still recommend Well of Radiance despite its nerf. I still recommend it. Still fun to use. And still really good. So, Hunters. We are looking at Lightweight Knife, which has struggled to find an identity for itself. We want to provide a low barrier entry melee with a payoff for high skill usage. However, it's not currently hitting our fantasy bar. This melee is getting a small rework. Lightweight Knife rework now has 2 melee charges by default, increases throw animation speed by 33, reduced suppression time between throws so both knives can be thrown very quickly back to back. The additional melee charge does not stack of a Phidias Spathe due to the exotic's unique energy recharge behavior. We'll be monitoring this and evaluating how things are playing once things go live in Final Shape. Knock him down. Reduce eternal cooldown on throwing knife refund from 1 second to 0.2 seconds. Okay. That got nerfed. Golden Gun Marksman. Ooh. Okay. This is gonna get hit. Golden Gun Marksman now does the following in Final Shape. Reduce strength of orbs of power created on precision hits as follows. When hitting non-boss enemy, reduce strength from 0.75 to 0.5 of a normal super orb of power. When hitting boss enemies, reduce strength from 0.75 to 0.4 of a normal super orb of power. When hitting boss enemies while sturdier scales is equipped, they reduce strength from 0.7 to 0.35 of a normal super orb of power. Titan Sunbreakers. Let's take a look. We are looking at Consecration. We made some improvements to Consecration that landed pretty well. But with its inclusion in Prismatic, we want to make sure Consecration could stand on its own without relying on Roaring Flames. We want to have some interesting interactions with Prismatic abilities. As a result, we've increased the damage of ignitions caused by Consecration in PvE combatants. Let's read into that. Consecration. Consecration and Final Shape will now do the following. Consecration Slam attack can now shatter stasis crystals. Ignitions generated by Consecration now deal 20% additional damage to PvE combatants. We have fixed an issue where Consecration Slam attack was sometimes unable to damage floating combatants while they were grounded. Nice. Fixed an issue where Consecration intended PvE damage resistance was not being applied. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. I wonder if my fellows who were running Consecration the other day were noticing that. So, I'll have to ask them that when we get to that question. Hammer Soul will now do the following. Increase projectile submunition count when Soul Invictus is not equipped as follows. If the projectile detonates within the first 0.7 seconds of its lifetime, it will create 4 sharpenal submunitions up from 3. Projectile detonates after the first 0.7 seconds of lifetime, now creates 6 shrapnel up from 5. When Soul Invictus is equipped, only 3 sharpenal submunitions are created regardless of flight time. Sharpenal submunitions now deal additional damage when Soul Invictus is not equipped, with the damage increasing after the first 0.7 seconds of the projectile lifetime. Swarm Grenade increased tracking shape size from 4 meters to 6 meters. Nice. Increase lingering duration from 7 to 8 seconds to 10 to 11 seconds. Increased damage versus PvE combatants by 20%. Sweet. So, okay. They wanted to boost Swarm's Grenade because of Prismatic. Gotcha. Now we're going into Void. Let's hit into it, boys. We're talking about Night Stalkers first. So, Night Stalkers are generally in a pretty strong place, as seen by their high popularity in Onslaught. Large proportion of that is driven by the potency of Shadow Shot, and the ability to lock down hordes incoming waves of enemies, and the just the overall ad density. And not necessarily its neutral game offering, so we make a few changes to help shore up that side. With release of Void 3.0, we remove the Corrosive Smoke melee ability in favor of Snare Bomb, leaning further into the trap-laying Trickster fantasy. So that means Smoke Bomb might be going bye-bye. Ooh, interesting. But I'm not gonna lose hope yet. I might have misheard that from reading that, so I apologize in advance. But it does say what it says in the Twid here, or in this dev article that I'm reading. Because there's more to read as well when we get to the exotic armor pieces and then the Twid itself. So there's gonna be a lot. So grab just grab some popcorn, grab a plate or something to eat while we're gonna be unpacking all of this together. So, Hunter Snare Bomb will now do the following in Final Shape. Increase linger duration of smoke after detonation from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. Now applies small damage over time to enemies in the smoke, which increases strength the longer they remain in the smoke. Trapper's Ambush. Increase lingering duration of smoke after detonation from 4.5 seconds to 6 seconds. Apply Snare Bomb's damage over time to enemies caught in its smoke. We have fixed an issue where Trapper's Ambush smoke effects could be obstructed by ground geometry. Interesting. Stylus Executioner to allow its weaken effect while act to be applied by a glaive melees as well. Nice. Stylus Executioner weakens effect can now be applied by glaive melee attacks. So, the question remains is, if I'm a hunter, what glaive am I gonna rock for that in PvE? Well, there are a few options on the table, but I would recommend a Void one because this is for Night Stalker and for just overall Night Stalker. So what I recommend is finding a Void glaive that you guys can bring with you. Find one, craft it for your hunter, and you'll be golden with this new Stylish Executioner bonus. So, let's keep going. Void Titans. This is for shield. Shield throw attack. Shield Throw does now the following in final shape. Increase maximum bounce count from 4 to 5. Increase maximum lifetime from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. Increases its tracking shape size and strength after each bounce, increasing its ability to consistently find a new target. Slightly increase gravity and decrease thrust speed with each bounce. Increase damage versus PvE targets by 20%. We're also making a small change to Offensive Bulwark. This is partially a punitive fix to stop players from getting into a bad timer state, similar to Ember of Empyrean issue, resolved this season. Nice. You can now only extend Void's overshield timer to its normal maximum duration to prevent an issue where players can get into a bad. Now regenerates a small proportion of your active Void overshield with each melee defeat. Nice. Warlocks. Void Walk. Oh man, let's get into this. Void Walkers are getting a number of improvements, starting with Chaos Accelerant. Overcharged Magnetic Grenade has fallen by the wayside since its inception as handheld supernova with Forsaken. To remedy this, we're increasing its damage output and knockback capability, as well as its uptime. Chaos Accelerant will do the following. Charge Magnetic Grenade. Increase maximum intensity of physics knockback impulse by 10%, giving us a buff damage for PvE combats by 20%. Now passively decreases your Magnetic Grenade's cooldown by 10% while Chaos Accelerant is equipped. Beautiful. Pocket Singularity Melee. Increased detonation damage versus PvE combatants by about 50%. That is huge. That is absolutely amazing. Amazing. We're now looking at Nova Bomb to improve its overall damage output without the need of a super boosting exotic. Cataclysmic Nova Bomb, increasing its maximum secondary secret count, making it more consistent. For a Vortex Nova Bomb, we're increasing the lifetime of the lingering damage over time volume. Nova Bomb Cataclysmic Variant, increase secret count from 4 to 6, fixing issues where secrets could impact the environment on creation. Vortex Variant, increase Vortex Linger from 7 seconds to 10, fix an issue where the linger visual effects were shutting off early. Strand. This is huge. Strand Titans, Strand Warlocks, and Strand Hunters. Get ready to buckle down, because there's some stuff we got to unpack in here. Such as aspects, fragments, all of that. Okay. Threat of Warding. Here we go. Threat of Warding is too potent. Granting it Woven Mail overshadows the role of Berserker into the fray aspect, being the best source of Woven Mail for your fire team. Threat of Warding now will do reduced Woven Mail duration on overpower pickup from 10 seconds to 5 seconds. Hunter, Strand. Ensnaring Slam. Detonation volume versus enemy players is now a cylinder with 6.5 meter radius rather than a spear with 8 meter radius. This results in fewer instances of victims correctly attempting to counterplay by jumping but being caught by the Ensnaring Slam detonation high up in the air. Okay. Fretted Spike is little too potent and against enemy players with forgiving tracking and high damage for its ease of use. We're making a small reduction in its damage versus enemy players. We are also changing the catch mechanic, that catching your Fretted Spectre or Fretted Spike no longer breaks invisibility. To prevent this from happening on Prismatic Hunter in combination with Stylus Executioner, Fretted Spike will now do the following: reduce damage versus enemy player from 79 to 70. Not a major change. It's only like a small. Catching your Fretted Spike no longer breaks invisibility. Okay. So, Warlock Brewweavers. We are getting a really good one here. Weaver's Call adds the new behavior in final shape. Defeating a target with strand damage now has a chance to generate a perch Fredling with a higher chance of generation from defeating more powerful targets. This damage can be from any source, including other Fredlings. Guys, Weaver's Call, please run this. Because when you have Weaver's Call, while with Mindspun Invocation, you're going to be able to store those Fredlings and just mop the floor with adds with Fredlings or just potential damage. Absolutely amazing buff. I love this. Weaver's Call is going to be huge. Okay. Grapple Tangles and Melee. Grapple Tangle no longer fully refreshes their duration when grappled to. Now increases their duration by a maximum of 5 seconds per grapple, reducing to a maximum of 1 second added after 5 consecutive grapples to the same Grapple Tangle. Additionally, Grapple Melee will no longer be able to be used after firing your weapon. This is primarily intended to reduce the number of difficult to understand Grapple Melee deaths in the Crucible, where players can grapple toward you, fire a single hand cannon shot, and follow up with a grapple. Melee for a very fast cleanup. Also reduces the number of melee damage stacking sources, which can spiral out of control very quickly, that are very easily achievable with Grapple Melees by removing 1-2 punch from the equation. That's kind of a nerf for our Strand Grapple Titans. That would run Banner of War with that. But let's see. Into the Fray, Strand Titan. Reduce melee energy regeneration scalar from 4 to 3 in PvE activities. Unchanged in PvP activities. Okay. Banner of War nerf. This is not a drill. This has been long coming ever since November. Banner of War. Reduce maximum timer from 30 seconds to 24. Melee, glaive, melee. Okay. Melee, glaive, melee, super damage bonus now have diminishing returns when Civ Sets is equipped. Melee bonuses decrease from 1.4 to 1.15. Glaive melee bonuses decrease from 1.25 to 1.125. Super bonuses decrease from 1.4 to 1.2. Melee and glaive melee damage was with Worm God Caress. Melee bonus decreased from 1.4 to 1.1 based on stack count. Glaive melee bonus decreased from 1.4 to 1.05 based on stack count. Frenzy Blade. Frenzy Blade is now getting the following. Reduce the forward offset for melee launch target point from 0.4 meters to 0.18 meters. Okay. Guys, that is our first article. You guys have an overview. Well got nerfed. Bubble got nerfed. But we got some really nice stuff for Strand and Void, Warlocks, and other classes. Also, again, for Hunters, if you guys are Void Hunter mains out there, I recommend going to craft a Void Glaive. If you guys are wanting a recommendation on a Void Glaive, you guys can go on D2 Foundry. And again, I really don't know what Void Glaive is going to be craftable for Hunters. It's hard to say. So, if I go to Glaives, can I filter this? Weapon. Here we go. Glaives. So, we have the following. You can get... Definitely not this one. This one, right here. Elected Distaff is pretty good, so you guys can rock that. That's not bad. And then you guys can also rock... What's another good Void Glaive for you guys that are Hunters? I don't... let me see. Give me a sec to respond to you guys. Ah, yes. The Enigma. This one. This is Void. This wouldn't be a bad option to craft. However, though, it doesn't have any, it doesn't have destabilizing rounds and stuff like that, so it's not gonna, I wouldn't say it would be that insane, but you still could craft it for that Void Hunter change where, you know, Stylish Executioner will actually work with a Glaive, which is very, very nice. Alright. Does anybody have any questions so far? Because if not, we are moving to the next article. Okay. We are going to Exotic Armor. Here we go, boys. Starting with Hunters. Triton Vice. No longer requires a glaive that matches your subclass to trigger its extra detonations. Glaive projectile final blows now always trigger a detonation that matches the glaive's damage type, even when the glaive does not match the equipped subclass. The surrounded effect provided by Triton Vice while wielding a glaive now lingers on the player for 5 seconds after no longer being surrounded. Dragon Shadow has been updated to trigger its effects when you use Ensnaring Slam or the new Ascension Arc Aspect, opening up more build crafting combinations. Foe Tracer now grants the bonus damage it inflicts on a target to weapons. The damage type also matches that ability used to damage that target instead of always matching your equipped subclass. With Prismatic, you can apply a variety of different damage elements with your abilities, and this change allows Foe Tracer to buff multiple different weapons damage types instead of just the one that matches your subclass or super element. Huge. Absolutely amazing. Amazing. Hunter Foe Tracers are going to be so good in final shape. We also want to add the benefit to 6 Coyote, since otherwise the Spirited Coyote perk on the new exotic class items would have granted the same benefits as the original exotic. We took inspiration from Claws of Kara and added the ability for 6 Coyote to create Orbs of Power from final blows after using class ability. This implemented as the exotic, granting a free copy of the Reaper Armor Mod's effect. Renewal Grasp has been updated to grant the Frost Armor Stasis keyword, as they mentioned in the previous article we were just reading earlier. On entering your Dusk Field Grenade volume, you or your allies gain a stack of Frost Armor. About every 0.9 seconds, an additional stack of Frost Armor is granted, resetting your timer. Star Eater Scales has been a strong exotic, but now, after Lightfall changes its armor mods, Orbs of Power are much easier to come by. We want to adjust Star Eater Scales to balance the effort required to gain its powerful effects. We are making a change regarding its efficiency when paired with multiple players running Golden Gun to reduce its potential for fire teams to loop supers indefinitely. Increase the Orbs of Power required to gain maximum benefits from 4 to 6. Reduce the increased super energy gain per Orb of Power when the Golden Gun is equipped from 2% down to 0.5%. We've updated Ursa Furiosa for Titans. Void Aspect Unbreakable? Holy shard. That's new. Its addition to previous effects. Now provides increased move speed while guarding with Unbreakable. Also grants super energy when guarding with Unbreakable. This energy scales based on the amount of incoming damage the shield absorbs. And Unbreakable is the void aspect where you block and you take incoming damage and you won't get killed. That's very nice. So, Eternal Warrior no longer requires Arc subclass for Arc Final Blows to grant escalating Arc weapon damage bonus. Allows it to synergize with prismatic builds more easily. Behavior related to Fist of Havoc, unchanged. Like the 6 Coyote, Armamentarium updated with an additional benefit beyond granting a second grenade charge. It now creates Orbs of Power from grenade final blows. This implemented as exotic, granting a free copy of the Firepower Armor Mod's effects. Nice. Capri's Horn was feeling lackluster in many situations. We've increased its potency of its Solar Blast. Increased the damage from the Solar Blast by 100% in PvE. Holy shard, that's crazy. Solar Blast now scorches each time it hits a target instead of it scorching only once. Capri's Horn now benefits from Ember of Eruption and Ember of Ashes, plus 30 scorch in PvE and plus 15 scorch in PvP. Heart of Inmost. Buffs in the HUD could easily crowd out other important information. We felt that it could be less verbose in its HUD feedback, so now it displays a single consolidated status effect icon in the HUD to communicate its state. Instead of the 2 to 3 it used before, the functionality exotic is unchanged. That's good. Symphoseps is an exotic about being in the thick of a group of enemies, and effects are potent to offset the inherent danger being surrounded. However, we felt that it was too easy to carry those powerful effects once triggered into a far less dangerous 1v1 encounter. Reduce the amount of time that bionic enhancement lingers after no longer being surrounded from 8 seconds to 5 seconds. This duration is now visible as a timer on the buff. Severance Enclosure. Particularly noisy exotic when it comes to effects blasting enemies around the battlefield. We want to elevate it, sort some of the noise and awkwardness around the explosions to better bring them in line with other area effects on exotics. Explosions now require line of sight to damage enemies. We also reduce the knockback intensity of these explosions, which will now launch enemies more consistently vertically. Warlock exotics. Here we go. Mantle of Battle Harmony has been adjusted to grant more super energy for defeating powerful targets, and the cooldown on your granting super energy has been removed. This is intended to make it more potent in a wider variety of activities. Grant super energy ranging between 1.5% and 4.5% depending on the target type killed. Remove the second cooldown for the perk's activation. Balador has been updated to grant Frost Armor, like how they said in the previous article. Activating your Rift grants you and nearby allies the maximum Frost Armor stacks when Frost Pulse is equipped. Activating your Winter's Wrath Shatter attack grants nearby allies the maximum amount of stacks of Frost Armor when your Winter's Wrath ends. Gain maximum stacks of Frost Armor, which is nice, because you'll get that damage resistance and that health regen. Second, Defilements. Empowering Rift will now reset a player's existing Devour buff duration back to 11 seconds when they enter it, in addition to its previous behavior. Rarities now requires final blows with a weapon matching your grenade's damage type instead of one matching your equipped subclass. This better supports using it on the Prismatic subclass. Sunbracers has been quite a bit of time in the sun in the season. We want to bring down its extreme crowd control while also tackling the visual noise it produces on the battlefield. We don't want to remove its core identity of blanketing in the battlefield solar light. I'm kind of sad about this one, boys. I wanted to rock this with Song of Flame, but we have to see how bad the nerf is going to be now. Reduce the increased solar grenade duration from 4 seconds to 2 seconds. Oh. So that's not going to be a lot of spam grenades. Okay, Sunbracers are gone. They're nerfed. So bye-bye to that. But they also said we will reduce its increased grenade recharge rate, allow a max of 4 grenades while the effect is active, down from 5. Oh no. Cinetap. My favorite exotic. Marking the target. Marking this priority target marked. Here we go, guys. When multiple people would use my exotic on a single target, it resulted in far more heavy than it was that was healthy for the sandbox. Push fire teams into all using the same build, which is more reductive than we would like. Multiple players using Cinetap can no longer trigger its effect using single enemy target. Cinetap's target lock visual marker is now hidden for the exotic wearer and only appears to the wearer's allies. Man. That is sad, but I'm hoping that we can still see the buff that says target marked. I want to be able to see that still, at least. And I know you won't see the visual marker, but as long as I get to see the buff that's applied to the target, that's how I know that a target is marked. That's all I need. That's literally all I need. Then I'm set. Okay. Powered melee and armor effects. Powered melee was always intended to mean spending a melee charge. However, subclass elements like combination blow or knockout would always players to circumvent this cost. Makes it difficult to balance the potency of effects that require powered melee, especially across all classes and subclasses. We want to standardize this better across the sandbox. We are starting by updating Severed's Enclosure and Assassin's Cowl to only trigger their effects when a player spends a melee charge or uses a finisher to get a final blow. We plan on rolling this type of change out to more content that triggers powered melee in the future updates. Post final shape. Okay. Exotic Artifice upgrades. What is this? If you spent the time to get that triple 100 Artifice armor set for your build, one piece was always a bit left out. Whether you're looking to make everything match, or get that last +3 resilience, or just want to get your hands on Artifice gear for the first time, we figured it was about time for us to tie up that loose end with the release of the final shape. Exotic armor will now be able to access the unique mod slot and free stat mods of Artifice armor. Exotic armor can now be upgraded after it's been fully mastered, granting an Artifice mod slot. Huge! Absolutely W! You have gotta be kidding me. That is huge. Amazing. Let's go, boys. This comes at the cost of an exotic cipher and 10,000 glimmer. Man! That's a shot in the foot. If I'd known this earlier, I would have been focusing for exotic ciphers. Ah, man, that makes me sad. So, now the bigger question is, how are we gonna obtain exotic ciphers when exotic ciphers are only been able to come out of the battle pass or Xur. So that is going to be the question that all of us players have. How are we going to get more? How are we going to be able to buy more of exotic ciphers? Light bulb. Pew. I think when they talk about the Xur rework that's coming next week's Twid, they will definitely probably allow us to buy exotic ciphers from Xur with his new reworked strange coins. So stay tuned for the Xur thing next Thursday. A week from this live stream, by the way. In the live game now, which is Ammo Finder update, in the live game now, heavy and special Ammo Finder mods reset the progress towards an ammo brick whenever you die. Leads to players receiving less ammo and harder difficulty activities, if they're playing right on the edge of their skill level. If you were unlucky enough with the time of your character dying, it was possible to never get any Finder ammo bricks at all. In Final Shape, we want to make ammo finders more predictable for all players across all activities. So, heavy and special ammo finder armor mods will resist the progress towards an ammo brick through death. This means you will always get a finder brick if you defeat enough enemies regardless of how many times you die along the way. Because of this change, we have disabled ammo finder mods in Crucible, and player kills will no longer grant ammo finder progress in Gambit. We found this change dramatically increased the amount of ammo players would receive on average. So we have increased the kill requirements for both special and heavy finders by 20% for Guardians in a fire team. Solo Guardians, however, have no one to resurrect them when they are defeated. So we have left their kill requirements unchanged. Okay. Raid armor mods. The narrow application of raid mods allows us to give them potent benefits unique to the raids in which they are used. However, while these benefits are strong, they don't currently feel impact enough in practice, especially since they may not fit into your existing build. As a result, with the release of Final Shape, we're making it easier to layer these extra elements into your loadouts as you go for that perfect weapon roll. Removed all mod energy costs from raid-specific armor mods. Yes! So that means you guys are low-manning raids, doing trios, duos, anything like that of any kind. You do not need to spend armor cost in Final Shape to wield that armor perk as a raid armor. Huge for low-mans. Huge. All of the low-man people are going to love this change. That's myself included. That is amazing. That is huge. So, what else do we have? That's basically it for that article. Guys, we are getting closer and closer every time with these things. That is all the dev articles. Does anybody have any questions on anything? Anything? Because if not, you're going to have to rewatch the whole, 55 minutes right now. So, let's go ahead and go to the next article. The Twid. We have a twad to read. Let's go, Crota. How is my day going? I am doing good, my good friend. I don't know if you know, a lot of exotics got nerfed. Lots of fragments and aspects are getting added. And lots of good exotic armor pieces are getting buffed. Chat, give me about a few minutes. I have to take a call, so we're going to go to a break and let my voice heal up for just a few minutes. Just don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome me back, chat. We are back from our little intermission. I had to take a phone call. We are now reading the Twid. So, yeah, we got done with checking out the exotics. Frost armors are going to be really cool. So frost armor for stasis is going to be really nice. You'll be able to, based on the frost armor stacks you have, you'll get increased health regen, and you'll get damage resistance for it, which is going to be very, very nice. Stasis is going to be very, very amazing in final shape. Alright. Details. The Vidoc. Alright. This is important, boys. We need to watch this Vidoc. And I don't know how long the Vidoc is. So give me a few seconds here to adjust some settings. Discord. Web browser. Need this on. Properties. Yeah, I don't use Chrome anymore. Okay, there we go. Alright. Part 1. Confronting Oblivion. Tyson, is this Tyson Green?
There's a line that emerged in Destiny 1 that wasn't planned for, but is very deliberate by the person who put it in the game, and is very resonant for Destiny players, and resonant for me as a person. And that line is, Guardians make their own fate. That still gives me goosebumps. For me, that has sort of become a touch point for the Destiny story. Again and again, external forces come and try to impose a fate upon you and humanity. And again, you show them that they can't do that. We make our own fate. That's not just a powerful theme of Destiny, it's also a powerful theme for us as people, as both developers and as humanity. We make our own fate.
When you're talking about 10 years of story, there's a lot of stuff crammed in there, and there's a lot of things that we could do and could talk about. But as storytellers, the hardest part isn't coming up with the ideas, it's knowing which ones are the important ones. We want to tell a story that makes you, the player, feel like all of that time that you invested, we saw you, and we want to give you the experience that you've been waiting for.
We looked at everything we had, we laid it all out, like whiteboards and like everything.
We were trying to look for a theme that felt resonant, not just for this story, but for Destiny as a whole. And the theme that we kept coming back to was purpose.
What the?
And that's what this story is about, not just for ourselves as the player, but also for our characters.
I used to think I'd give anything to bring you back.
I cried quite a few times doing those scripts because I treated it with the love of a fan. Every time I opened a script, I was like, what would I want to see? What would I want to hear?
You get to see their emotional journey, the struggle of how do we defeat the Witness.
Oh.
Let's bring an end to your futile exertions.
The Witness sees itself as the one true God. So it's come to the Traveler because it needs the power of the Traveler's light to finish this vision.
What the f-
Its goal is salvation. Why don't you want that?
Be reborn.
Our mission is
What
to
are
make
these
sure that we
freaking
can
voice
prevent it
lines?
from getting the light, the thing that it needs, in order to make it all happen.
It's finally confronted the Traveler, and here we are, thorns in its side, a blip on
What
its
the
radar,
frick
trying to make a
craps?
difference.
What are we
You're
traveling
dead.
in?
Speak to the Witness. And the
I know
Witness
this is the
gonna
Traveler, but
shine a
frick
light
me.
on some things. And you wonder, like, what
Wow,
would it be
they've
like?
really worked
What
their
would it be like
butts
to be a
off for
disciple of
that.
the Witness?
Your Guardian's use has yet to be determined. We're in need of a God killer.
Are you
Every time you hear the
Dude!
Witness, you're not just hearing one voice.
What
you're
is
hearing whispers in
happening?
the background, you're hearing all of these other textures.
You're still resisting.
You can feel a subtext sometimes where the real Witness comes through, or at least things that it doesn't want you to know about
Holy
it come through.
flying elder?
Putting characters into
What
pressure
was
cookers
that?
is what storytellers do best.
What is
And
this?
I can't imagine a more intense pressure cooker than it's the end of the world. If we fail, everything is frozen forever, and only we can do it. It's just the handful of us inside of a god.
What is happening? This is war. This is chaos.
There were a couple of themes that we had when we started on the Pale Heart. The two main ones that I remember were surreal and shattered to spire.
Seeing how they put a tiny little guardian at the beginning of this vast journey that's spreading out in front of you really put into perspective the scale that we needed to hit in order to make the Pale Heart look and feel dangerous and ambitious and vast.
When we were thinking of surreal things, it was a bit of a challenge, because how do you make something surreal? For me, is putting familiar things out of context. What is the thing when you turn the corner that you are not expecting? So that's when we play with scale, we play
What
with
in the flying gods is that?
There's this awesome piece of concept art that is like this massive ghost in the horizon, and you just like go over there and it's just like broken down in the middle. And
Holy
it's just
shart.
weird in a way that is unsettling, but at the same time feels very visceral.
Another one that we used was body parts, and it sounds a bit strange because we didn't want to do body horror. So I was taking screenshots from the game and just trying to find silhouettes and things that would look surreal. And I started replacing all the trees with hands. So all the limbs was made out of fingers coming out, and eyes were on the
God.
floor. And I do remember
That is
our director was
badass.
like, that, like, more hands.
Are there hands holding up the freeway in which we were born? Yes.
Holy
You'll
jaw-dropping
recognize it
moment.
instantly,
My God,
and then
this
almost
is...
as quickly you'll.
I'm
realize
about to
you've
jump
never
out of
been
this
here
chair if I
before.
seen
I
anything else.
definitely feel like
Oh,
there's
there he
some
is.
aspects of the Pale Heart where like, this is freaking weird and scary. I want to take that risk. I want to push a little bit of what expectations of a destination can be, and I hope that players love
Tree of
As
Silver
players
has
progress,
returned from
they get to
Arrivals.
see more influence of
Ooh,
the
that's a
witness,
gun.
not just on
What's
the
that? Is that
traveler,
the
but
golden gun
also
sniper?
on the races that it's interacted with that we've seen so far.
Okay.
The Dread are a result of
Oh,
the witness
God, yes.
experimenting with the light. So while it's inside the Pale Heart, it's able to access the light as it's trying to siphon it. It is using that light to create an
What
alter
fusion
new
rifle
and
is
different
that?
Combatants.
Another burst
And
hand
so
cannon?
We've encountered some of these members before.
That's the
Now we have an
auto
angel.
rifle that heals, isn't
The
it?
new Dread units. They're using a new language, collaborating with narrative. We went through and used this constructed language tool to generate different phrases and figure out like grammar structures and other things.
Oh my
The
God,
pyramid
they're using a
language
trackball
that
mouse
the,
for design.
Dread
Oh
units
my
speak
God, that's about to
is
bring me back
actually translatable.
my trackball
so
mouse
players,
days.
if they're really interested in figuring out what the pyramid units are saying, could decipher these. Kos yen itget, vaktoku vakad.
Yo!
Interesting addition
That
to
was
Destiny
sick!
because you've never fought anything like them before.
We talked about, oh yeah, they need some big weapons.
What the
like, it
frick
needs
are
to look
these
like
guns?
This thing is serious business. They wanted a bit of a secondary unit.
I
on it,
swear
so
to
like
God, if we get to wield that,
2-in-1.
that's gonna
As
be
the sketches
sick.
were progressing, we're kind of like, oh, this feels like it's sentient.
Oh.
And we just love the idea.
We had all these different sound effects in our library of water bladders that make some really cool sounds when they're shaken. We used some sounds of slapping jello too. So that was kind of the foundation
What?
for the husk.
That's
We had
so
all these
cool.
Real physical sounds that come together and feels like an alien moving around in the stomach of this thing. The collaboration between the different disciplines and the trust we have for each other. At the end, it comes out better than anybody could have made individually.
Holy shart, oh my God, 10 out of 10 with the sound effects. What is happening?
There's a moment where you realize, looking at the final shape, that it's not just a story about the Guardian's journey. It's also kind of the story of Destiny's journey. It starts in a place of uncertainty and challenge, and then it changes and evolves, and it proceeds forward into the unknown. And as you get closer to the final shape, those two experiences converge. We know where we're going, we know where we're aiming for.
I feel very confident about the love and the work and the thoughtfulness that everyone working on this release put into it. And I think it's inevitable that when people start going in and experiencing all these different things that make up this expansion, I think they're gonna see it.
I won't lose another soldier in this war.
Oh my god, they're playing that theme? Oh my god, man. Oh, that was so cool. That was... Okay, that's not even the end of the Vidoc. Oh, there's another one? Oh, please, give me more. What? It premieres in 18 hours? No! I wanted to see it now! That was so cool! Oh, man, that was sweet. You guys got to see my reaction on this week. This was pretty cool. Alright. We got some news about the Day 1 raid. Okay. New raid is coming. We will take the fight to the witness and prevent its calamitous plans to end the world as we know it. The stakes are at the highest. Fire teams across the globe will compete, test their might to be the first group that competes the raid to take home the coveted belt. We want to celebrate such an occasion properly. In partnership with Twitch rivals, we will have a world-first race broadcasting, covering some of the streamers participating in the race with commentary conducted by returning hosts Professor Broman and Rec1568. I will be signing up for this as well, chat. You guys want to watch our clear? Watch everything that we do? We will be going live on the Day 1 race at Reset with our full squad. And if you guys watch me for at least 2 hours, you guys will claim both this emblem and this emblem right here as shown on screen. And you will get a global Twitch badge as well, Ghost Chat badge. Watch for 15 minutes of the Final Shape raid. Pretty Guns! Earlier this week, we increased the drop rates for Brave weapons and trophies of Brave, as well as increased the reputation gains. These will remain active until Into the Light ends on June 3rd. We know you are swimming in the loop pool right now, and we want to the end one more time before the limited editions are no longer available. Starting on May 28th, we'll be doubling the drop chance of limited edition version of Brave weapons. So that, combined with the increases we made to weapon and token drops, will give you lots of opportunities to grab a few more pretty guns with pretty rolls. Happy hunting, Guardians. Awesome. Awesome. That is amazing. May 28th. That is Weekly Reset. This is going to be huge. Amazing. Also, we kind of got through the abilities and armor tuning dev articles, so you guys want to check those out. Again, this will be covered in the stream, so you guys can rewind back to like the start for both of those. Okay. Pathfinder. What is it? How is it going to work? What is it going to do for us Guardians playing Final Shape? Pathfinder is a brand new pursuit system we're introducing in Destiny 2 that consolidates bounties, patrols, weekly vendor challenges into one streamlined system you can access anytime via the Director. Different Pathfinders can be accessed from relevant screens of the Director by selecting the Pathfinder node or using a hotkey for quick and easy access to the system. So if you play on PC in Final Shape, you will be able to shortcut key this Pathfinder on your keyboard, so that way you can go in here, check out your rewards, get the different, have a different way of earning loot throughout Final Shape. When you open a Pathfinder, you will be presented with 20 objectives divided into 5 tiers, leading to every Guardian's favorite thing: big, shiny loot. To reach said loot, you must complete objectives, claim them to form a path from the leftmost tier to the right, while you can progress through all objectives on a Pathfinder without restriction. You will need to claim at least one objective in each tier before you can claim opening a new potential path. Building a path to the final reward allows you to claim it. Claiming the first final reward opens a new opportunity, resetting your Pathfinder. So, this is gonna add into the question for new players and for people who are gonna play Final Shape. What is what is the goal here for Pathfinder? Is there going to be a ranking system? Is there going to be... No one really knows what kind of rewards we're going to be getting in the Pathfinder. We do know that it had something to do with Vanguard, Nightfalls, Gambit, and Crucible. So far, that's to our knowledge, based on removing those specific bounties. So that way you can do those core objectives in Pathfinder. So, where is Pathfinder, may you ask? The final shape will launch with 2 Pathfinders, one available to all Guardians that replaces the bounty systems and weekly challenges for our core ritual activities, and one that you'll unlock in the Pale Heart as part of the expansion's campaign. The Ritual Pathfinder provides you with a set of objectives that span throughout all of our activities, such as the following ones: Vanguard, Nightfall, Onslaught, Gambit, and Crucible. Some of these objectives can be completed in any of these activities, while others will require you to dive into a specific ritual activity or mode. An update later in the year of the final shape will make it even easier to get these ritual screens while you are in their activities, as well as make it easier to access the ritual's Pathfinder system. We don't want to reveal too much about the new destination. You can expect the kinds of objectives on the Pale Heart Pathfinder to roughly align with what you expect from destination bounties, with the addition of some new location-based objectives called field assignments. When field assignments are featured on your Pathfinder, you can expect to see them marked directly on the destination map, where you can track them to take advantage of our waypoint system to help navigate to their location. Why is Pathfinder? When we set out to build Pathfinder, we have 4 core goals. The first goal was consolidation. Destiny 2 is an enormous game that has evolved constantly over the last decade. Many pursuit systems have been added to the game over time, and these systems are accessed in a myriad of different ways that make it difficult for Guardians, experienced or not, to understand what they can be doing at any given point in time. We set out to build one system that has the capability of aligning all of these into one cohesive UI you can always access from wherever you are. Our second goal was to give players more agency. Bounty systems in Destiny 2 typically let Guardians pick from a handful of fixed bounties that reset each day and provide repeatable bounties for those who wish to further engage with the system. These limited choices result in a system that feels prescriptive about how you should play it instead of putting you in control. We want Guardians to feel ownership over their engagement with these systems, with the ability to chart a course that matches the goal of their play session. With that in mind, our third goal was making decisions matter a bit more. Our existing pursuit systems consistent largely of disconnected individual objectives that have no effect on each other. In many cases, a Guardian's decision regarding these objectives are limited to doing or not doing a particular objective or spending limit to reroll repeatable bounties they don't like. Pathfinder's path-based system incentives Guardians to complete objectives that may otherwise be out of their comfort zone to achieve a more direct path to their final reward. It also allows Guardians to forge a more elongated path around objectives that don't call out to them. As their options diminish closer to the final reward, Guardians will be challenged to engage with a particular activity, mode, or playstyle to acquire rewards the way they want. And finally, our fourth goal was to reduce barriers because, let's face it, much of our time as Guardians is spent zipping between destinations to prepare to play the game. Flying to the tower, flying to the helm, flying to Europa, it all takes time that we could be spending fending off Witness and forwarding its universe-threatening plan to enact the final shape. With that Pathfinder, you already have your objectives, and they're always progressing as you play. Whether they are locked or unlocked, there is no need to visit a vendor or use the Destiny app to grab bounties. No need to balance your inventory of quests and bounties, and no need to travel vendors to claim your reward for a weekly challenge. About Destination Pathfinder, these rewards are designed to encourage completing many paths over many objectives in each Pathfinder. If you want to maximize your weekly rewards, your best bet is to plan your optimal path. So, path completion reward. First path, Redacted Exotic, powerful tier 3 engram. For 1 rank of vendor reputation, 25,000 XP. So, so the only question that remains, can we stack this with a full fire team? We don't know that yet. Second path completion, redacted exotic, pale heart engram, focusable, which means allowing you to get your red borders, which is going to be very, very nice, because I think last year when we were trying to get Lightfall Neptunian engrams, we had to get them through random drop and quest. This is now going to make it so if you want a specific weapon to drop from the Pale Heart, like, for example, you want the crafted, say you want the crafted machine gun, you want that crafted auto rifle that heals your allies, that's going to be possible with this Pale Heart engram focusable. That's going to be really, really nice to do that. That is very, very huge. So, next thing. Path completion rewards 1 through 3. Third path, the Pale Heart engram, focusable. 375 reputation vendor reputation, 25,000 XP. Path completion rewards 1 through 3. Repeatable, world legendary engram, 150 vendor reputation, 4,000 XP. Nice. Very nice. So, let's talk about these things. Category, description, example, objectives, calibrations, directly replace bounties, most common objective category on the Pale Heart Pathfinder. In the Pale Heart, defeat combatants of a certain faction. In the Pale Heart, defeat combatants using weapons that match your subclass damage type. Field assignments. Players must go to locations in the Pale Heart and complete a custom encounter that only appears while the objective is active. This is the second most common objective category on the Pale Heart Pathfinder. In the Pale Heart, travel to Redacted and claim a reward for defeating a Redacted. So that's basically an enemy and travel to a specific location in the Pale Heart. Ventures, destination focus activities and objectives. Only 2 per the Pale Heart Pathfinder. Only appear in the tier before the final reward. In the Pale Heart, progress through a certain activity and loots the chest. Completing the objective grants additional progress. So doing a bonus objective grants additional progress. Next thing, Rituals Pathfinder. Crucible, Gambit, and vendor bounties will be replaced by Unified Ritual Pathfinders. Additionally, on weeks, there will be an active reputation booster associated with that ritual activity. Completing an objective node awards experience, like individual bounty completion. Completing a path is designed to be akin to completing a weekly vendor bounty challenge. Completion rewards include Prime, Bright Dust, and experience. However, where vendor challenges are limited to 3 per week per character, Pathfinder progress is shared across all characters and is infinitely repeatable. Due to these differences, the reward amounts have been distributed accordingly. First 3 completions. Prime, Enhancement Prism, 150 Bright Dust, 25,000 XP. Next 7 completions. Enhancement Prism, 150 Bright Dust, 4,000 XP. Subsequent completions. Enhancement Core, 30 Bright Dust, 40,000 XP. We're updating the quest tab. We have already shed some light on the UI and UX changes coming within the final shape, particularly on how the screen information channels have been updated to show buffs, debuffs, weapon perks in a more organized way. Let's talk about some other quality of life updates we have introduced in the quest tab. Starting in June 4th, players will be able to set any quest category on the left column as the default when you enter the quest tab. At the same time, all milestones will now show up on the quest tab. Although they will not count against the total amount of quests and bounties that can player hold in their inventory, will still be able to hold up to 63 in total. For players who want to keep everything more organized, we have also updated the quest tab so that tracking quests in individual categories will now bring them to the front of the sort order in the quest tab. And last but not at least, if you hover over a quest in the quest tab, it will let you know when you can launch directly from the detail screen, so it's now more straightforward to get it from checking it to playing it. These changes to the quest tab are not only quality of life changes we made to our menus, we have also integrated reputation boosts into the ritual activity nodes at the top of the director screen, so when those are active through an episode, players will get that info at a glance. Nice. And speaking of ritual activities, we also redesigned the private match screen for both Crucible, Gambit, to allow for greater ease of use and more custom options that will give players some rewards. We hope you like them. Also, final warning, you have until June 2nd, because June 3rd, servers will be offline for 24 hours of adding, making sure they have a good time release window for Final Shape. So, remember, make sure you use your legendary shards. That's less than 2 weeks away. It's time to put those shards to good use because you won't be able to use them once the final shape is launched. Our recommendations: buy raid banners for a lifetime or exchange them for some resources at Rahul, but please use them before it's too late. Final bosses of Pantheon are here. You basically can now fight Riven and Nezarec. That's a very sick poster. Very sick. All 8 gods of Pantheon in one amazing poster. That is beautiful. Beautiful. So, they will giving him a community focus within him next week. And starting tomorrow, Display will have the Pantheon poster available at their store, including a format with the new 3D enhanced texture finish for this poster. Nice. You can buy this. Your favorite killer robot, Trevor. Lego Trevor is coming for you. That's cool. Well, skating is not allowed in this last city. Money. This is all Trevor collaborations that got featured on Bungie's page. Very, very cool. Our latest collaboration with SteelSeries, you can purchase a Control Freaks, a new mouse pad, a key to put on your mechanical keyboards, and a SteelSeries headset that has rechangeable things inside of its forehead thing when you put it on the top of your head. So, as we said earlier, Final Shape 24-hour downtime. Final Shape will be brought offline 24 hours on June 3rd. There you guys have it. Players will be reminded of the downtime in-game and via social media channels before it begins. Players will be able to pre-download the Final Shape during this time. Excellent. Absolutely amazing. No matter what platform, be advised that it'll be a large file to download and install. When the game is brought back online and the Final Shape has launched, we expect there will be sign-in queues during the first hours and during peak play times at different places in the world. Keep an eye on Bungie Help and Destiny 2 team for more information. Don't forget to do everything you need to do before Season of the Wish closes on June 3rd. Also, pony error codes, we're investigating those issues. While we work on a permanent fix, we recommend turning off friend and clan requests in your settings under the social area and setting fire team invites to friends only, or whatever we prefer. We're working to resolve this issue as soon as possible. Claim your seasonal rewards, seasonal seals, season pass items, seasonal vendor rewards, Shax, Zavala, Drifter, and Saint 14 rewards, Banshee 44 reputation items, and your Bungie rewards. You can look at the Destiny Content Vault for seeing what items and stuff will be put into the Destiny Content Vault in Year 7. Known issues will be the following. Capturing a zone in the Collision PvP game mode while having full super energy will slightly reduce super energy. Tormentors can push turrets away in onslaught with their slam or grab attacks. Alright. And I forget who this is. Remember to include your Bungie IDs in your Destiny 2 Art of the Week and Movie of the Week submissions. We can easily grant the corresponding emblem. We are done here. Only 12 more days until Final Shape is here, so be sure to have everything you need to be ready. Check that you have the weapon patterns you want. Remember, you can get 1 red border weapon per day. Go complete a few more runs of Onslaught. Take the challenges of the Pantheon with your friends for glory, and for that Godslayer title, of course. You can do it, Guardians. We have faith in you, the Destiny 2 community team. That is everything, guys. That is all the reading we can do for today. Stay tuned for the final Twid on Thursday. Before Final Shape, which will be talking about Xur. I believe they'll be talking about Xur, unless that has changed. So, there you guys have it. That is a lot of reading. Let us launch the game. And get ready for whatever we have to do today. And while this loads up, I will be back. headset on, get it charged, and then get ready for some friends today, whatever we're doing. Where are you guys at? Oh, caretaker. Alright. I need to... I think I need to go to the helm. We got some stuff that we're gonna definitely want to do today. So, there's that. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, yep. Chat, we'll be back. We're gonna split this stream up into two, so we'll go live again when we actually do something. So for now, we'll be back later, boys.